All right, here's Andreas again from AO Performance, speaking English again. There's a lot of English now. And the more English I speak, the more messages I get from people all over the world, like, do more episodes in English. So we're back with the Power Pod, and this time I have another NHL player that I got to know over the years because he played with Jesper Bratt in the Jersey Devils. So welcome, Pavel Zacha.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be on your podcast and, talk.
I appreciate that. So first of all, because I heard some commentators said Pavel is different. How do you say your last name?
It's in Czech we call it Zacha because CH it's ch back home. So, but like
Okay.
in US it's Zaka, Zacha, that kind of. I'm
Yeah, I
starting to
heard so
forget
many
what my
weird
name.
different. Okay, so I go with the US Zaka.
Yeah,
That's easier than Zacha. It's tough. It's tough for us.
yeah, that's easier.
Yeah. So you play with Jesper for a while, and now you're in the Boston Bruins organization.
Hmm.
And I heard from Marcus Johansson that he loved to play for the Boston Bruins. Do you agree with that? He said it was a great group of guys.
Yeah, it's been since I came here. It's been a great group. There's a lot of veterans still playing on the team. Patrice Bergeron came back, and these veterans, and just seeing them in the locker room and chance to talk to them even before season, just seeing the mentality and the work ethic they have on such a high level. It's we when I was in Jersey, it was a little bit different, younger team, being around
Yeah.
younger guys. Of course, there was some there, their work ethic was there, but seeing that across the whole locker room is impressive, and the way
Wow.
they hold each other accountable about everything is it's impressive. And it's just start of a season for me, but I'm
Yeah.
learning a lot with this team.
I can imagine. So let's talk about Patrice Bergeron because I heard so much good about him. So he's still as serious as he probably was like when he was 16 and 17. How old is he
Yeah,
now? Is he like 37, 8?
37. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he's 37, like almost 1,300 games now, and
Yeah.
he's like 997 points right now. I saw it's crazy his accomplishments, but yeah, I think he works hard. I talked to him about it. He works harder now than he used to, right? Like you learn what you need with your body. I feel like as everyone, and what surprised me the most, like first of all, was how nice of a guy he is. But you hear about it a lot. But one thing I didn't hear is like the work ethic, even on the game days that he has. I come there 3 hours before a game. I'm used to with Jesper coming there
Yeah.
early,
Yeah.
3 hours before a game, and I'm there every time he's already there. So
Oh,
I bet
wow.
he comes there like 2:40 at 7 o'clock game, and he's doing his workout, like actual workout from like 3 o'clock to 3:30, just doing like fan bike workout. Then he does his stretches, then he has massages. So he has like 2 hour routine, but actually like not just like laying there and being in the hot tub, like working out, doing this. And he has
Yeah.
the same routine like after a game. He's there for 2 hours doing treatments, workout, all that stuff. And for a guy that has been he could basically not do anything and still be probably the best player in our team. And for him to do this, and this is probably his last year, if not, I hopefully it's not, but like he already wanted to retire, came for this season, and
Yeah.
seeing him work out like this, and you see it's paying off. He has another season, he has point per game, and it's just very impressive for the players, for me to see that, and because he didn't see that much in New Jersey, so seeing a guy like this putting so much work into it, and then on the other side, his mental game, he talks a lot of like he made sure that we have like a psychiatrist in Boston
Mhm.
that he brings to the guys and is able to talk to them, and the way he speaks and the way he thinks about game, how he can leave, have short-term memory was his biggest thing too. He's like, I learned it when I was like 27, 28 mostly. He was like, it didn't come right away, but like the meditation and all that stuff he does. So it's not just workouts, it's everything he does. Eats healthy, his body fat's, 7, 8%. It's not like, he's ready to play. He could play way longer than I think he thinks he could, but it's just very impressive for what he's done, that he's still working so hard.
That's amazing. I heard Cindy Crosby is exactly the same. Like shows up the first guy at the arena and leaves the last.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think there's no shortcuts, right? It's a reason why they're there, right?
Yeah, because there are still a lot of players who,
Exactly.
they're talented, maybe more than them, and it's just like they play 5, 6 years if they're like in the league, and then they kind of get a drop off, and they
Yeah.
get their big contracts and stop working or whatever. And seeing him, this is, I don't know, his fifth, sixth deal, and he's still working the same way, and he has so much money, he doesn't have to, and he still does it. that's motivation, I think, in himself. And some people just have it more than others, I think, too.
Yeah, talk about passion for the game, right?
Exactly.
And I guess that like this spread to the whole group too. And as that kind of a captain, same as Sidney Crosby had that kind of a captain in a team that really shows the way and like a real leader and walk the talk, so to speak, has to be so inspiring for you guys that you younger you guys as well.
Yeah.
Especially
No,
coming from Jersey too, like when you, as you said, like you have a young team there, which is just different. But to see this kind of a leader needs to help you too, I guess, with your motivation and inspiration, and see that kind of a guy work out every day.
yeah. No, it's, for him, I think seeing them a lot of it, there's not that many younger guys here, but even, he takes care of the older guys. They see them. There's always like workout after a game, and it's like, Martian, Foligno, and him having their numbers, but everyone comes in and does their workout after anyway, because like, okay, these guys been in the league for so long, they're doing this, like we can't be the ones who are not doing a workout right now. So it's like a whole team effect. And he's like a very positive person, the way he speaks. He never like puts you down. He's trying to figure out you in your head. He even told me, he's like, we need to talk a lot before the season, so I figure out what works for you mindset wise, so I can get you to your best mindset when I talk to you.
Oh wow.
If you need to be yelled at, if you need to be talk to like a motivational way. And that's something that like, not that many guys ask, especially like, captains. It's more, you're always thinking about, okay, coaches have to know how to talk to you, but it's like when the captain like tries to figure you out before a season to know how to like motivate you so you can play good. That's something I've never like really heard before. And that really shows you before, like, you want to play for him, right? Like, this is like, okay, this guy cares. So that's something that, again, puts the team together. You saw, the success he's had, even with the teams winning Stanley Cup. It's like something that I talked to him about. The Chara was a lot of that taught him these things. Yeah, the same thing with like rookies, that they never call them rookies. They call them first year players, just so everyone feels comfortable. Like, those are like little different things that they do here. And it's that this team has been in the playoffs almost every year. So, it's a good mentality to have. And yeah, I'm enjoying my time here so far.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can hear that in your voice too. But that's amazing. I never heard that before. I mean, a lot of coaches would do the, that would just take after him, like do that. Ask people, ask players, how do you want to get coached? And he's the team captain and he does it. Wow. I mean, wow. I'm impressed. I can imagine. Okay, now I know why people love him. So, wow.
Yeah, because you feel comfortable. You need to be connected with the players, right? Like everyone says it, like, play for each other, but it's easier said than done. And when you do this, and then there's, guys like, a lot of guys have 1,000 games. You're like Nick Foligno, like Marshy is close to that, Brad Marchand, and all these guys are very like involved, like ask about families, ask about that. And it's not like just like to ask, it's like they're actually genuine. And then you have Bergie with, talking to you a lot and knowing who you are as a person. That's really important.
Oh wow! All right, what a player, what a person! Wow, I'm impressed. But let's get back. So, let's go back to your career. Let's take you back a little bit to, because you're from Czech. Where are you born where you're born?
I'm born in Brno, Czech Republic. So like the second biggest city.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And when did you start play hockey?
I started playing hockey was probably 2.5, 3 years old. I started skating and then played my whole career.
Why do you think, like, this is a tough question, I know that, but I usually ask this to like every NHL player I train, because I think it's from the beginning, it was from my own, like, both purpose for my own kids, like, okay, what does it take for my kids to end up in the NHL, but also I wanted to know, because I've been training NHL players since pretty much 2006, so it's been a while now, and I've seen so many players come and go. I've trained so many, probably thousands of players over the course of 20 years. I've been a coach. And I usually say, like, if you put like 100 16-year-old players in front of me and I see them train and maybe skate, but I think it's enough to see them at the gym. And I think I can pinpoint with pretty good accuracy who has a chance to make it to the NHL, because very, very, very few has that last thing, when did you like decided in your own mind, I'm going to be an NHL player? Was it even a dream, or how do you think, why did you think you ended up in the NHL?
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint, because you everyone works really hard. But my dad thing was, he was really on me. He was with me growing up, and he just wanted to make sure. He was like, I was the hardest working. He was playing. He was athletics. He won like 3 times or 4 times the Czechoslovakian, like in athletics, the
Oh wow.
7 disciplines and stuff. He was volleyball, so he was a professional tennis coach. So he put me when I was like 3, 4, 5 years old into tennis and hockey, so I can decide when I was 11 if I want to play tennis or hockey. Which when he asked me that, because it was on a completely different side of Czech Republic, I had to say hockey. I just love team sports, but I think with that question, when I knew, it was always to play in Czech Pro League, I would say, because I never, as you know, in Europe we don't have time to watch games at 1 a.m., 3 a.m.
Yeah,
You just
yeah,
you just watch some highlights, but it was so far away. You don't never seen the players in real life. You don't even know where Canada or US is.
sure.
So it was for me to be in a Czech Pro League. But then when I was, I think, 14, I had the chance to play with junior team, and I was really looking, like I had a couple practice with the pro team. I was like, okay, this is not that crazy of a jump that I can make in next 4 or 5 years. When I'm 19, I can play in this league, and I can maybe make it sooner.
Yeah,
And my work ethic was putting there from the beginning, from like my dad. But I just fell in love with the game, fell in love with how to get better. I just always trying to figure out the ways, and he helped me. He find a way to like get the team, build us the shooting room in our arena. He made sure that I had all the keys that I needed, so all the gyms, all the outdoor areas where I could go there any time of the day. After games, I can stay there till 1 in the morning and do that. So that was, thanks to him, that he made sure that I had all the things that I wanted to.
yeah,
But just when I saw how close I'm in that age, and then I got the chance to play one game when I was 15, I was like, okay, but like this is another step. And I started thinking about NHL. I was like, okay, if I can make this by the age of 16 or 17, the scouts are going to be able to watch me. So that was probably the breaking point. Then I started to watch some NHL games, started to learn some English just to like prepare myself, started to think about going to juniors, and just how to be able to make it, because that was the big decision that I had to make. I went to OHL, Ontario Hockey League in Canada, because I wanted to really learn English, learn how they play, because it's a little bit different game how they play there with the travel and everything. Our
yeah.
longest travel was like 3 hour bus ride, and that's how I made the decision to go there. But it was, I think, at 14, 15 that I was like, okay, I know it's a far away, but like I'm closer than I am. I'm playing with 3 years older, and I'm one of the best players there, so I have a chance to make it in Czech Pro League in time before the draft. And yeah, that's when it like clicked, and you start working out even harder by yourself, and no one had to tell you anything at that age. So
Yeah.
that was kind of my
So looking back now, would you say, like, if you compare to your friends and teammates in that age, if you had like teammates in that age, or were you like by far the youngest one? But if you compare to like the 2 or 3 year older guys, were you working a lot more hours than them, like stick handling and shooting at the gym and everything? Were you doing a lot more than the rest? Do you think that will
yeah.
like separate you from the rest?
Yeah, I did way more. It wasn't even like a question if I was working like close to them, because I had the great teammates. I have to say, I made sure that like I asked the coach if I can have ice in the morning when before school, so we can go there, and he made sure that I can have ice like skill session, and he was going there with me. And then let's say month in, that we had 12 players skating with me there, even though they're
Oh,
3 years
wow.
older. They skated with me, getting better. We were really good that year, so everyone saw that it's like the way. But like I had the opportunities and I took them. I was like always really excited to get better than the other guys. And when you're younger, you want to be as good as them. And when I saw that I'm getting better than them, it like made me super happy. And I was always humble. I like to pass. I don't like to be like selfish player.
Yeah.
So like people like to play with me in that way. But never really showing myself off. But I was just kind of like quiet, more like working hard, and just people are like talking to me after too. I saw some players like, man, like we're watching you when you're just after games running around laps, running stairs, doing that stuff by yourself, and we're like, this kid is 14, we're 19, and
Yeah.
like he works so much more than us. And everyone ended, and I was shooting pucks for 2 hours. I had the thing that I had to shoot every day, 300 to 400 pucks. That was my dad said it to me. But after that, you're like, okay, 300 is only like 45, 50 minutes. Well, I have hour and a half. Let's shoot for that long. So those
Yeah.
are the little things that, and you have to enjoy it too. I
Of course.
loved it. I think that's something that people don't understand when I try to talk to them. I was like, I actually like to be tired. I know sometimes in puberty you're kind of like, okay, like maybe that's enough. You had
Yeah.
sometimes the thoughts, but then I was like, okay, but like if I want to make the NHL, this is just the players in my Czech league. I have to be
Right.
best here to be able to even compete around the league. So around the world. So yeah, that was something that I never had to really had problems with.
So one question about that. One last question is about that. Was it worth it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would do it again. People ask me like, you didn't have any childhood, right? I was like, well, I
Yeah.
met a lot of teammates, a lot of interesting people. I'm living what I wanted to live my life.
Yeah.
Meeting even greater people now playing in the NHL, but like just the whole process is worth it. And you'll learn now, as I was talking to Bergie and these guys, like the way I was working, the guys who stay in the league for a long time, they keep working. So it's not like, okay, I was drafted, I made the NHL, this is my goal. It always like in every career, it always escalates. It goes, okay, I made it. Okay, now how I can make 5 years in this league, how I can
Yeah.
pay. Now I'm like at 400 games I just played. So I was like, okay, I have to get to the 1,000. Like that's the mark that you want to play. And then it's like the points and everything else. But it always goes higher, which is exciting about sports and work, I think, and everything else that you can get better. So yeah, it's worth
Wow,
it.
it's amazing. Yeah, it's worth it. Well, as I've been saying all of my years here, but as a coach too, like it's no shortcuts. You need to do the work. If you don't do the work, you're not going to play in NHL. That's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can end up there, but you need to put down the hours. You need to work more and better than everyone else. That's the key. I mean, and if you have like your family, your dad was on you and told you this is what you need to do. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that makes it a little bit easier, but as you said, you need to like it, but you actually need to do it. Sometimes you probably hated it too, but you still did it because
Yeah.
you had a goal inside yourself that you really want to go somewhere. And then
Yeah.
you get drafted as number 7, right?
6, yeah.
Or 6, even 6. Wow. So that's unbelievable. That's that's not very many Czech guys that's been that high, right? In the history.
Yeah, no. I think I had only like 3 or 4 guys higher than me
Yeah, that's
in
unbelievable.
history.
So then
it
you
was
started to then you play with you got a teammate. His name is Jesper Rad, and let's talk a little bit about him. Just know this. He's a big reason why you and I are talking right now. And so I've been training him for I think it's 6 years now, and been part of a little part of his success. And I think you are also a very big part of his success. For you, anyone who's listening to this, Pavel Zacha is one of the absolute best guys I ever met. Period. In not in just hockey, in life. I mean, you're an amazing person. Just you're so humble. You're an amazing guy. Every time I see you in over there, it's just I'm just love to be around you. You're just a great guy, a solid great guy, 100%. No, yeah, I really mean that. And Jesper is the same. So that you two clicked is not a surprise for me.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say about his let's talk a little bit about his success. And I know he's been going through the same journey as you had. He's been working out more than anyone else. He always heard that he was too small. He cannot make it to the NHL because he's too small and blah blah blah. And that just put fire in his head, and he's like, I'm going to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
So share a little bit about Jesper, because you and him are best friends and you played together for like 5 years, right?
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah. And just share a little bit about his work ethic and what you see in him, and what made you, another question will come later, what made you change the way you train, and you came to me and we started to work together. But start with Jesper and what you saw in him when he got there and you started to getting closer and then you got to be best friends.
Yeah, I think, at the beginning, we had just so much in common, what we liked, and on and off the ice. And I think it didn't go right away to like, okay, let's talk about workouts. Let's talk about, the mental.
Did you start about, sorry to interrupt you, but did you start about cars?
Yes, that's how it started. No, we're both really interested in cars. So that's how we met. We you probably heard the story, but we met, talking in the hotel room and watching the same videos. And I recognized his video channel and he mine, and we just started talking, and we became, best friends for 5 years. And I couldn't ask for a better guy to, be around. And I learned so much from him too. And I heard how his journey was, and it was a little bit different than mine, I would say too. A little bit like growing up, I think he had more of he had to prove himself a lot as you said, being shorter and all that stuff. Like I was playing with older guys and was usually like better than my age. I was playing pro at 16 and, being drafted high. He had a little bit different route, but I think that's what really made him, even bite harder and work so much harder than everyone else and working everyone more than everyone else in the NHL. That's also like a different thing than working, growing up more than everyone else, because there's 100%. Not many guys with the resources and all that stuff. NHL, everyone has the money, everyone has the resources to work hard and does it. And, being excelling in that, like he did. And then we started talking a lot about it because, I saw how he was prepared for the years and, getting better. Me growing up was more, doing as much as I can. My dad had it kind of, but he's not a workout coach, right? Like he knew what worked for him. He was playing volleyball and stuff, but for me it was like, okay, I have to just shoot as much pucks as I can, and then work out as much as I can. But he showed me like, okay, this is what really works for a hockey player. This is really what works, especially with the workout stuff. That's how we met basically. But I was really interested in that because I was like, okay, I've been playing 1-2 years. I been getting better mentally and all that stuff, getting into the game, but physically I wasn't really getting where I wanted to be. Was getting faster, but not as much as I would like to, and stronger and all that stuff. So that's something that I was talking to him a lot, and he was showing me in, what he does before games, so the day before games, all these stretches. I never really stretched in my life that much before either, as you know. But that was something that, I think you have to be also open-minded, even if you make it to the NHL, to be wanting to learn and wanting to ask questions. There's a lot of guys who don't do that, things they know the best. And that's also how they don't. That's why I learned right away to ask questions, be interested in how, okay, this guy's the fastest player on our team and has, the best edges. Like, okay, what does he do? And learn from him, not be like, oh yeah, he does this, this wouldn't work for me anyway. I was trying to learn from him. He was asking me about, shooting pucks. I was, we're talking about, okay, this is what I do in the summers, how I shoot pucks. And he started doing that. You see now, his percentage of shots per compared to goals is way better than it was. He probably had similar amount of chances, but now he scores the goals. He's getting faster and faster every year. And with the food too, I think he got there too. It wasn't his first, second year that much, but then, being with you, I think, also taught him, how to eat, when to eat, all that stuff. So that was really interesting to me because those are the little things that, you get better in the NHL. And it's the little differences that, make you $1 million player compared to being first top two line and staying there for a long time. So yeah, I was just lucky that, he was willing to talk to me, and we had such a good relationship that we always talked about it. He's like, okay, I want to be, when we talk to each other, it's like, okay, I want to be better than you, but I'll help you out. So we always try to chase each other up. It's like we love each other. We like where we are, but we're not like, oh, good job, buddy. We're like, okay, no, this sucked. Like, okay, how can we get better? How can you get better? Like trying to figure out the ways for each other so we can just keep chasing and get better every day. So you don't have that with that many people that, you have that much respect for them that you want to be better than them, and that pushes them too. So it's been fun 5 years.
Yeah, I can imagine. So because I'm not surprised about his success at all. Are you?
No, I mean, I saw him how he worked for 5 years. I there's always going to be some problems, something that, you were either is going to make you or break you, right? It's like we had a lot of problems. He wasn't played as much as he would want sometimes. And I saw it, but that was okay, what can I do when I get the chance? When I get the chance to play, I'll show everyone. And that was in his head. You can see last 3 years, every time he gets the chance, he shows people, but it's in his head is how he works every day, how he thinks about it. That's impressive. Yeah. Just a lot of guys would not be able to mentally and physically just go that long. And, he broke it, and now he's one of the best players in the league. So.
Absolutely. And I think, I think you were right on point too, because his mindset, he has a great mental coach here in Sweden. His name is Andy Svärd, and he's great. They've been working together for a long time too. And I think going back to you now, I know that for Jesper, his success, I think he needed that when people didn't believe in him, that when they said he was too short, when he said you're not going to make it, that just turned the fire in him. And he's like, I'm going to prove them wrong. And I think he missed the World Juniors. He missed, I know, more than one national team. And that just pisses him off. And I think now too, maybe not this year, last season, but like seasons before that, when I think he thought that he deserved more ice time and stuff, but didn't get it. And he was even more focused. We were talking. He's like, we need to work more. I need to get better. I need to get better. It was not like a question if, like I want to get better because I'm going to make it. No questions asked. So going back to you, like, because most successful people I know and I've heard of has gone through some tough times that really helped them get stronger mentally. Because I think, going through some rough times, even if it's injuries or something else happening, or I mean, whatever, people go through a lot during being a teenager and puberty and stuff like that. Did you have any setbacks at all, or how did you get so strong mentally?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. I never had like a really crazy setback, I would say, but there was coming to Sarnia, coming from Czech Pro League and coming in, not speaking any English, basically felt lonely first time without my parents. I had like 15 games without a point. I was supposed to be the top guy. I was like projected to be top 5 in the draft, and I came and I couldn't play hockey. Then I got hurt for 35 games right after. So that was my draft year. And then, then I came back, finished the season pretty strong, went to under 18, did pretty good there. Got drafted, and then basically I had a really good season in junior, got called up. Before that, I had before I got sent down, I was in training camp, and I was there the whole training camp playing like 3-4 preseason games, and then I had to talk with the head coach, and he was like, "I don't think you're ready." I was like, "To be honest with you, I know I am not. Like, I would rather be sent down." And that really clicked in my head. I was like, "This is still far, far away." Like, I've played. I got a chance to play top 2 lines, and I wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough to play in third line. I was like, I'm 6th overall pick. Like, I have to, like, the team really needs me to be there and stuff. So I put a lot of pressure on that and worked really hard, had a great season and played there. But I think mentally the hardest part was my contract year, my 3rd year. I wasn't really played as much as I would like. I was working out a lot, trying to get better, but mentally I wasn't there. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I was like, okay, this is my first contract. I can either be out of the league even and stuff like that. So it's like, it's not great. And I didn't have a great start. I got sent to AHL for a couple of games, 5 games. And when I was down there, I was like, okay, I'm never going back to AHL. It's such a difference in the league and the organization. You bus everywhere. You're not staying in the best hotels. It's just like such a different culture shock. And I was like, okay, I have to open my eyes. When I get a chance to get back, I'm never going to take it for granted, work out every day. And I never look back. I started training really hard, talked to Brader. I think that was the year where we met too. And I really wanted to change in that. And it was my 3rd year. I wish happened to be my first, and I would have a bit better 2 years after. But something like, I wouldn't say like you get comfortable, but it's just so many games, 4 or 5 games a week. And it's just so hard to have short memory. Sometimes you have a bad game, you're like, okay. And then you think about the next game, and it's just like keeps rolling.
Yeah.
And people think, okay, you don't have a point in 8 games, and it's basically a week and a half. It's kind of that. But the 3rd year really showed me, it's like, okay, this is a quick league. Like this, as I was saying, it's like you either make it and, and then you have to get the goals. Like, okay, I have to stay in this league and be good at this league and all that stuff. And that really showed me, it's like, okay, I can have 10 bad games and I can be cut from a team, go back to Europe. My career's NHL's over. I was like, this is not going to happen. Like, I'm going to make sure I'm going to be a good player. And I start working out, on my stuff, on my mental stuff. I started doing videos, got a video coach. So I know videos to get better on the little details that they're telling me that I need to get better on to stay on the team. And yeah, it went from there.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Because I remember, was it 5 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever, when I met you and then Nico here, we were like on a rooftop and Jesper, and we were talking about, I know we were supposed to talk about nutrition and stuff because you've seen Jesper eat healthy and stuff. And I asked you and Nico, and I think I remember you both said, like, does it really matter what you eat?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, I never, healthy food was like, my dad was into that like a little bit in the end, but then I never thought about it that much. I was like, you know what, we burn this many calories. If I eat this many, I'm going to burn it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If I eat burger with
calories out, right?
Or healthy with 1,000 calories. That was in my head. I was like, was like, okay, I'm actually thinking about calories. That's good. Like, you know, getting better. Okay, I can eat 2 cheeseburgers, not 4.
Yeah.
You know, but I never thought about it. It can have such a big impact on your body, and I didn't really change that mindset until like the last season, being
Yeah.
with Brad, really like trying to change my diet. And you know, I didn't feel good. Like I couldn't sustain, you know, the energy throughout the games, especially playing so long. And then the focus, you know, when you're tired, you can't focus that much.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, like, you know, this guy can play 82 games and he never gets tired. I was like, it has to be something with like something else, because we're working out this very similar way now.
Yeah.
Even in the season, I'm doing the same stuff. Like, how does he not
Yeah.
get tired?
Yeah.
And I am. So I started thinking about it and asking him questions too. And then I remembered how we talked about. So then I called you, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And I remember because I've been at Jesper, I've been in New Jersey for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 times during these 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I met you every time. And we've been working a little bit together. I helped you with some hip problems and back problems and foot problems, whatever you had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, so when you called me in the spring,
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty tough on you too, because I know you've been like half wanted to train with me for many years, but never really took the step. So I was like, if we're gonna do it, let's do it 100%, right?
Yeah.
And I think you needed that. I think you like that too, right?
No, I liked it. I knew that I wanted to work with you for a while. It was just like, okay, I'm in Boston now. I have my setup here. I was like, I don't know how it's gonna work, you know, with being distance. I don't know how much I can be in Sweden and all that stuff. So I was kind of hesitant. I was like, it's a big step, like changing in between seasons, especially. I was like, okay, this is my, you know, that was my contract year before. I was like, okay, I have to just make sure whatever I know kind of worked. I was like, I'm going to stick with it, even though knew that this might be a little bit better. I was like scared that if it doesn't work, people are going to be like, I told you so. You should stay with what you had. I had the same conversations this summer. People are telling me you have to stick with what you know. Like this works for you, made the NHL. I was like, but I want to get a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know? And so I was like, you know what? Like it's time. Like, you know, I'm 24. At the time I was 24.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have still a long career ahead of me, hopefully. And now it's time to get a little bit better. And like, I believed after talking to you, and we talked a couple times, that, okay, like this makes sense fully. And if I like really focus on it that summer and like keep moving it from there, I know there's no way I can get worse, or this is not going to work. Like, you know, you thought out the process with your, you know, with your app and everything like that. That made it so much easier for me, especially knowing some of your stuff because of Brader. We did a lot of stuff together. So I knew some stuff, but then, you know, being able to call you, seeing it on the app with the video, you know, and the food and all that stuff, it made it so much easier for me to like take the step and go there with you, which I'm, you know, super happy with that I did. So
yeah, me too. Because I mean, I've been wanting to work with you for years, so I was really happy. So, but if you compare, like, just for the listeners too, like, because you come from Czech Republic and you've been probably training like more traditional way before. Then you started doing a little bit of what Brader did, but then you didn't really think about nutrition. I mean, most athletes or especially hockey players think like you did, like. If a guy trains so much and his hockey is so tough, so if I eat whatever, I need to eat a lot. So doesn't really matter what I eat. As long as I eat a lot, I'm still going to burn it. So I'm not going to get fat. So it doesn't matter. Yeah. Right. So it was just a funny thing when we were up there talking. And so now after so we started in spring and we did it 100% online this time through my app and stuff. And you did really well. You worked so well, and I was so impressed by your focus. And now when you tell me what's that?
I didn't like you that much a couple times, but
and if you would have liked me the whole summer, I would not do my job, right?
True.
You're supposed to hate me at least a few times during the summer. Yeah. So, yeah. And I was now when you're telling your story, how you grew up and how hard you worked, I can see that now because that's the Pavel Zacha I saw working out this summer, and that's why the results. So let me just to make this short. We're not going to be much longer, but if you compare how you feel in your body on ice and off ice, like before we start to really train together and prior to that, like what's the difference between training like this, eating like this, taking care of like the whole holistic approach that I really care so much about? What's the difference? Like we can talk about hockey first.
Yeah. I mean, there was a big difference. First of all, I loved when we started talking, you said usually when you talk to trainers, they're like, we can make you like a little bit better there and there. You're like, man, I can make you way better. Like, you're going to be a star. And that's why I like from the beginning, like ambition, knowing what you're talking about. So I knew right away, I was like, okay, this guy's serious. He's going to do his part. I'm going to do mine. And I think like on ice now, I can feel like, as I told you, like we did some testing. I did really well in them. Even on the ice sprint, like it was like 5 sprints that it counts basically. How many times you can sustain the speed and stuff. I was the best on the team with that and stuff. And I've never been, I was a good skater for like, when I was 18, 19, but like never like top there. And being in, Boston Bruins, really good team, and winning that, I was kind of like, wow, this is impressive. And I wasn't even breathing that,
Oh, wow.
And
was that the first time you, sorry to interrupt you, but was that the first time you, like, when you did that testing and you won that in Boston Bruins, was that the first time you're like, man, this really works? Or was that the first time you like?
Yeah, because you in summer, like, you feel good, like, okay, I feel better than usual, but like you need sometimes maybe like some stats to back it up for your own like mental game. I was like, okay, I feel faster, but like, am I faster? And I did all that stuff, and I wasn't tired. I was just like, wow, like this is, we're gonna keep this going the whole season,
right?
I want to feel like that, and then playing the preseason games and all that stuff, just being able to focus way more on like the battles, especially when I was playing center, being down low, like being able to skate up the ice, have the energy to like support the offense too. Sometimes when you're playing center, you're more defensive, and you kind of like don't have power to like help the offense that much. So being there and being able to do that, and being able to focus the whole shift mentally too, I think that was a big thing. And feeling lighter on the ice, and even like the mobility stuff that we did together, I've been doing that all the time, and I don't need people putting me together after every game. Don't have to be on a table, get a massage. It's something that that like I don't have to really think about. I have to knock, but it's been kind of mind blowing how big of a difference it was to put it all together, and it makes you happy. Like, it makes me happy to like be like, okay, this is all it takes. Like, work really hard on the stuff that like makes sense, right? Like how you put it together. Eat well, which like once I started, I didn't want to not eat well. Like, I was, going to restaurant, and I was just like, okay, this is going to be one time. I'm going to order still the healthy stuff that I'm supposed to eat, but I'm going to cook at home. I can control it way more. And it made me happy that I was like losing weight in a good way. There was like turning into muscle, not just like losing weight that I used to. I was like, okay, I lost 10 pounds, but like I feel terrible.
Yeah.
I lost, basically I was 218 when we started doing stuff, and I ended up I'm at 202 to 205, depends on where I'm at. But like, more muscle. I was like 8.5% body fat, and just
8.5?
8.5, yeah.
And do you know where you were before?
I was like 12.5, I think.
Yeah.
Last 13 sometimes. So that's a big difference.
Yeah.
And just like the energy that I had, I was telling you too, when I was working, I was like, I don't know if I feel it, that I like eat well and I feel good, but I can do so much more. So I still get tired the same way, but I've done like 2 more, like, I put way more energy into the workout than I used to. So I think that's the big difference, that like, I couldn't done the same workout before and I would have so much energy, but because we did like, hard workouts and everything, I was like, I still feel tired, but I finished it like 100% the whole way.
Yeah.
And like 3 months in, I was like, wow, like this is really working. Like, I could skate, do the workout, be tired, but the next day be ready again, refreshed. Like, I feel like waking up in the morning, it didn't take me an hour to wake up, your eyes, like I was kind of ready within 5-10 minutes. And, it works, like, as you said to me, you explained to me how it works and everything. And I also like, for my own, like, everyone's different, but I like to have it explained so I can believe it and like go for it fully. So, with the talks we had, how you explained everything, it made it so much easier. And I didn't switch anything now with the food and stuff like that. I just think when it works, like that's the thing, you have to keep going the same way, and then you just keep adding on to get better. You don't want to take away when you don't have to. So
no, for me too, because I met you in Washington, and just to see the glow, and you were like shining. I mean, you look so happy and so fresh. And I seen you at your worst too. Like when I met you in Gothenburg, when you played in Gothenburg, you didn't feel well there. If you compare it to now, and so I've seen like both sides of the story too. And you see, I mean, it makes it so happy that what we do really works. I'm not surprised because I know it works, but it's always fun when a new player wants me as a trainer, and especially a guy like you that I really like as a person as well.
What excites me too is, you know, we just started too.
Exactly.
We did it basically for not even a year, and I feel that much better. I'm like, that's what excites me. It's like, okay, this is the new norm now. Like, where can we go from here, and like how much I can get better. I was like, there's so much more years that I can get better at this stuff, and even for my health being like, you know, I wasn't really sick now, and all that stuff, and just like, you know, eating healthy, I think it made such a big difference for me too, feeling good all the time. And Brad can call me that I'm not the biggest guy he knows anymore, so that's good.
Love that.
Like,
no, I mean, it's just the whole thing. I think, as you said, like it takes an hour, 2 hours to wake up before, and now you feel like 5 minutes you're up and you're ready to go. I mean, that means you slept so much better and you recovered so much better because you have like the nutrients in your body that can like build you and recover you during when you sleep.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was with the saunas too, and what you told me, and you know, with the cold tubs and saunas.
Yeah,
I never thought about saunas would help that much. I do them now in season every day after workout and all that stuff. So, you know, those are the things that I never like. You hear, okay, you have to eat well, but someone has to explain to you how and what to do. And you're hearing about this sauna, you're like, okay, sauna is good, but like how many times, when?
Yeah.
So that's something that, you know, doing that, I see the big difference too. So it all comes, as you told me at the beginning, it's like, it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, workout has to be, you can't just work out and eat terrible. You have to do everything 100%, and it's going to pay off. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen you play so many games, and I know that's why I said it to you. I know you're going to be a superstar, and you are on your way, buddy. You're just taking the first step now, and I mean, look at the way you play this year. I mean, it's amazing, and I love to. I saw you live, and I love to see you, and I'm just happy it works out. And as you said, we just first year in.
Yeah,
and hopefully we'll see you in Stockholm next summer. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there next summer for sure.
Yeah, we need to compete with Rader and Liam and stuff. So, right?
Yeah.
And soon you need to battle with my son too, right?
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So, but thank you so much for taking the time and share. And I hope a lot of young players are listening to this and see what it takes. If you want to reach that goal to become an NHL player, you need to put down the work. You need to think about everything. It's not just one thing. I mean, as you said too, like you've been shooting, you've been stick handling, you've been working out, you've been booking ice time in the morning before school so you can skate more. And I mean, you've been doing so much, and that's why you are where you are. So, I mean, and you're so inspiring. You're such a great guy, man. I always love to talk to you. And
I appreciate it. No, I have to say the same thing. You know, it's, as I was telling you and everyone else that I've, you know, asked me about my summer, I was telling them, you know, that's I appreciate the work you put in, how much you've helped me so far. I'm super excited where it's gonna go, but you really changed the way I think, the way I think about, you know, working out, the way I feel. So I really appreciate it, and I'm just excited to keep this going.
Yeah, me too, man. So anyway, so thank you so much for this, and I hope to talk to you soon. I hope to see you soon too.
Yeah, sounds great.
I'm going to Brader at December 4. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah, we need to schedule something too. So we'll put that in the calendar as well. So we see each other soon.
Yeah, that'll be perfect. Well, good luck with everything, and you know. And we'll talk soon. And thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you too, man. Thank you for this. And I know so many athletes will listen to this and get inspired. So you help a lot. So thank you so much, man. Right. I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye.